Actually,
Have you had them?
I have celiac disease.
Sorry.
Have you ever been to Jacquemo's?
I have diverticulosis, so I can't eat nuts
Oh, that stinks.
or seeds. Come on, take a picture of me.
Wait, I want to take a picture. We're gonna take a picture.
No, you're not.
Yes,
No, you're not.
Wait, we gotta
Can
take
you
a
take a
picture.
camera and take this photo of us?
Yes.
Come on, come on, chameleon. They come and go. Where are you from?
Australia. We've just come.
No. My favorite place is Perth.
She won a trip to Canada.
You did not. Get in. Get out here.
What's your step?
350 Australian kids for Sydney.
No, you didn't. What did you sing?
New York.
Stop!
What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking all about Richard Simmons. And we're going to be looking at the house that he passed away in, and we're going to go and look at his gravesite later on. Now, his gravesite is in a private portion of the Pierce Brothers Cemetery, so we will do the best we can. Now, there's a couple things going on today. One, it is extremely hot here in LA. And two, I do not like filming people's homes. I like to respect privacy, and especially on such a kind of sensitive time. So I am going to be a little bit quiet in this one, in front of this house, and respect their privacy. So right now I'm standing right in front of Richard Simmons' house, and this is the house that he passed away in. And he passed away on July 13th, 2024, literally the day after his birthday. And he died at the age of 76. I'm gonna go a little more into depth about how he passed away when we get to the cemetery, but he did have skin cancer. But we'll get a little more into that later on at the as in depth as I can get, because there's not a whole lot of information. There was no foul play. No report of foul play though. But right now I just want to focus on the house and kind of some interesting stories about Richard Simmons. Now, if you know anything about Richard Simmons, you know that he was flamboyant, he was eccentric, and he was an eccentric fitness guru. A fitness guru that knew how to make everything fun for people who were working out. Now, Richard Simmons did grow up in New Orleans, and looking at this house, I can almost see the reason why he bought this house. I mean, it does look like something that would be in New Orleans. Another thing is Richard Simmons also said that this is a house that was in the beginning of Gone with the Wind. There has been report from other people that say that is not the case, that the house that was in Gone with the Wind looks an awful lot like this one, but this is not the house. Now, this is a mansion up in the Hollywood Hills, among many other mansions and beautiful homes, and his home is no exception. It's just as beautiful as all the other ones. It's just as big. Richard Simmons found his fame in the early 80s, I believe in 1980, and around 1980 there was a kind of a new popular way of exercising. A lot of people were getting into aerobics. Cardio was like the thing, and Richard Simmons landed himself a TV spot where he would do his exercises in the morning, and he was a very positive person. He was a person that really encouraged people. He was never shaming, and he didn't have your typical sexy three people behind him while he exercised. He had real people that were struggling with weight loss, and he was super positive and really he really kind of he wasn't pushy in any way either. He was just very fun. He kept things fun, and that was his thing. Sweating to the Oldies, which came out a little bit later after his TV program. But he rose to fame because of his morning workouts. And to bring this into kind of a plane overhead, but to keep this in kind of a more personal realm for me, I remember my mom and some of her friends watching Richard Simmons working out sometime in the 80s. I don't know exactly when it was, but I've seen it many times. And so Richard Simmons was a good part of my early life. I mean, you know, and it was just, yeah, he was a big part of my mom's life, you know, and as his fame grew, he went on talk shows, and my favorite talk show that he would go on was with David Letterman, and they're bantering back and forth, and it was just funny. It was fun to watch. They were both interesting characters, and they kind of made this interesting, you know, environment, or interesting dynamic. That's what I'm getting at. More of an interesting dynamic between them. And if you ever have time, I recommend going and watching some of David Letterman and Richard Simmons interviews, because they are the funniest, the most joyful thing you will ever watch. And just on a side note, I really like this mailbox. It's the replica of the house, of Richard Simmons' house. That's awesome.
There was time for me to take some time to be by myself. You know, for the last 40 years, I've been traveling, teaching classes, and I had a knee injury, so I had a knee replacement, which was very difficult for me. And now my other knee is hurting, and I don't want to have another replacement. So I've just really been taking it easy. No one should be worried about me.
Now, there were a lot of things that I didn't know about Richard Simmons until I started researching for this video, and I did not know that his real name was Milton Teagle Simmons. What really happened was that he changed his name to Richard because his uncle Richard, paid for his tuition for college. You know, paying for tuition, man, I wish someone paid for my tuition. That would have been great. If anybody out there wants to pay for my tuition, I will probably change my name, my first name, to your name. So let's fast forward to 2014. Now in 2014, Richard Simmons was still doing an exercise class, a local exercise class in Beverly Hills. And one day, all his clients showed up to, the same clients showed up to work out with him at his studio, and Richard Simmons did not show up that day. And thinking nothing of it, most people just went home and just thought, well, probably something happened, not a big deal, we'll come back next week. They come back next week, and Richard Simmons again didn't show up. And this is why this is where a lot of people started worrying about what happened to him. And he gave no reason. He didn't contact anybody else, his celebrity friends or anybody, his family. Well, he might have contacted his family, but anybody that he was working with, he just stopped showing up. And people were starting to worry about him, but he just stopped doing everything. He stopped doing interviews. He stopped doing his classes. There was just no answer to it.
Where did Richard Simmons go?
There are strong fears for the safety and well-being of the star.
So what happened to Richard Simmons? Well, after a 2-year public absence, the fitness guru broke his silence and addressed all kinds of rumors with E.T. Weight gain, witchcraft, even kidnapping.
No, I'm not kidnapped. I'm under no spell. Sometimes we get lost in our sadness.
I guess you could say he just basically vanished from the limelight, and you know, it was his choice. Turns out he was, you know, perfectly fine. Some people saw him walking around, so you know, they knew he was alive.
Everyone wave, he might come. Is he coming? I think he might be coming. He might be coming. Here he is. Come on, Richard. Here he comes.
Oh, no, wait, stop it. Is he really coming?
He's really coming.
He's running.
He's running.
He's running for it.
Richard!
Yeah.
You gotta take this.
Is it him? Oh, yes, it is him. Stop it. Get out of it. He's just...
Where's he going? How are you?
Come here.
Excellent.
Sunday, where are you all from?
Come on, Australia.
Is he holding you hostage?
Oh no, Teresa has been with me for 30 years. So we're like an old married couple.
Well, when was the last time you actually left your house?
Well, I go out on rides and I go on walks, but you know, I haven't done any television lately. I still weigh 150. I work out every day. I have a gym here at the house, and I'm very healthy.
Here's what had people really concerned. Richard's last public appearance was in January of 2014. He attended a fundraiser for California's health insurance exchange. Then in January of last year, the LAPD responded to an anonymous tip and came here to Richard's mansion in the Hollywood Hills. He was found to be alert and responsive. Now, our last sit down with Richard was in August of 2013, and this moment caught our attention.
When the king gets depressed, he doesn't call for his wife or the cook. He calls for the little man with the pointed hat. And he says to the court jester, "Make me laugh." And I am that court jester.
All right, we are now at Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park. Such a long name. I always have to write it down to remember it. But here we are, and this is a resting area of not only Richard Simmons, but many other stars. Marilyn Monroe, Rodney Dangerfield, and so many more. Well, right behind me here is where Richard Simmons is buried. Unfortunately, I cannot go beyond this gate. It's private lawn, but this is where he's buried. And because we can't look at his, I don't even think he has a headstone. It's way too early anyway right now to really look at a headstone. Because we're not going to be able to look at a headstone, he was born on July 12th, 1948. And he passed away July 13th, 2024, the day after his birthday. And so how Richard Simmons passed away is a little unclear to me. I know he struggled with cancer, skin cancer, and he struggled with that for many years, but he was able to overcome it. And I thought when I first heard that he passed away, I thought it might have been cancer, but the autopsy says it's a little vague. It's still a little vague on how he passed away, but they were saying it was natural causes. And he was only 76. I mean, it's just kind of weird that natural causes would take somebody at 76, but hey, we're all different. We're all different, you know. But I was kind of wanting an answer. I was wanting a definitive answer, something that would be like, oh, okay, but the autopsy and the reports, police reports, showed no foul play. And even though he kind of was pretty recluse at the end of his life, you know, he was very private at the end of his life. And I think this being buried in a private cemetery, or well, not a private cemetery, but a private lawn within a cemetery, is pretty fitting. I think he was outside of his kind of like flamboyant and kind of eccentric ways. I think he was a pretty quiet person. I mean, like I said, he never brought up anything in his personal life in any kind of interview at all. And I think if anybody were ever to start talking about his private life, he would switch the conversation. And I can relate to that. And just the fact that he had skin cancer, and my father, my own father, had skin cancer, and he also overcame it, you know. My dad is kicking, he's very much alive today, thank God, you know. But yeah, it's just a lot of things I can relate to Richard Simmons. It's just, you know, that wanting to be kind of in the limelight, but also wanting your private. And I think a lot of us are like this, right? I'm not alone on this, but you also want your kind of like private, you know, life to yourself outside of what you do on you know, in public or whatever, you know. Also, coming early like this, it's so peaceful, and I just want to play a half-a-minute clip of just the sounds and the beauty. Just look at the beauty and listen to the sounds. Quite possibly one of the most positive workout gurus that I know of. I can't think of another one anyway. And it's incredibly sad, especially, and it hits different for different people. You know, I was in the age, a very young kid, but able to watch my mom in the 80s work out to Richard Simmons. And it hits differently for me, you know? And if my mom were still alive, it would hit different for her because she was a big fan. And I was too. Through her, I became a big fan myself. And for people maybe a little younger, probably hits even different, a little more different to them. Rest in peace, Richard Simmons. You will truly, truly be missed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. And if you want to see more videos from me, I came out here not that long ago, maybe about a year ago from the recording of this video. I came out to the Pierce Brothers Westwood Village Memorial Park, and I did kind of a mini tour of some of the stars that were buried here. If you want to see that video, it's right over here, right over my left shoulder. And if you want to see my latest video, check out this video right here. I'll see you in any one of those videos, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.